gorse, long and crisscrossed with muddy tracks. However, in November of that year, something happened here that would make this piece of land kind of special. For it was here that a new sport was introduced to New Zealand. States in the 1960s, and it spread rapidly through South America and Europe. But it wasn't until that day in 1979 that it finally arrived on our shores. The promoters knew very little about the sport. They had some vague idea of bicycles racing on dirt tracks. They didn't even know what it was called, so they called it pedal cross. Today, it's called BMX, and it looks nothing like it did then. Just 3 years after that day in 1979, BMX has well and truly arrived. There are now nearly 100 clubs in the country, thousands of riders, and as well, it's developed a language of its own.
Table-topping, dialed-in, radical berms and hauling using today. Endo is a crash. A hole shot is the pole position after the start. That's the first into the lead. A cross-up is where the rider crosses their handlebars while they're in the air. Berm is a banked corner. Now, there are 5 of those on today's track. Radical is something pretty crazy, and moto is a heat.
Okay, and we've got 18 of the country's top riders in the challenge today, but only 6 of them will make it through to the final. We'll explain how they make that final as we go along, but those who do get through have the chance of winning these great prizes. First, the Television New Zealand BMX Challenge Trophy, and this, a Redline BMX racing bike supplied by Healing Industry Cycle Division. The Redline bike is worth $585. There'll also be other prizes of Casio digital watches for fastest times. Well, unfortunately, the weather doesn't look like cooperating today. We seem to have just about everything, rain, sun and wind, but we're guaranteed that it's not going to affect the racing. Now, the riders in the challenge race will race through 3 qualifying rounds. Each of those rounds will consist of 3 heats, or as they call them here, motos. The aim in the qualifying rounds is to pick up as many points as possible. 9 for first, 6 for second, 4 for third, 3 for fourth, 2 for fifth, and 1 for 6th. Time now for Moto 1 of round 1, and our first 6 riders are Chris Felger from Bishopdale, he's 15 years old. In lane 2, Alistair Manning of Wainuiomata, 16 years old. From Mangere, Brent Harris rides in lane 3, and he's 17-year-old. 16-year-old James Bettridge is in 4 from Aorangi. Lane 5, Peter Fleming of Dunedin, he's 18 years old. And in lane 6, Philip Chapman of North Shore, who is also 16 years old.
Right, we're just about ready for a start now.
Riders, are you ready? Welcome!
Well, they're off this time. Good start from Peter Fleming. Chapman's there, but looks like 49's in front. That's Alistair Manning from Wainuiomata. He's got a flyer. And there's 3 falling down there, but Manning's making the most of this. It's Manning and Philip Chapman from North Shore, first and second. 5 or 6 lengths back to the third rider. That's another number 1 plate. That's Brent Harris from Mangere. But the 2 in front have slipped the field at present. It's 49. Alistair Manning of Wainuiomata. Bit of a battle on his hands with the other number 1 plate rider, Philip Chapman of the North Shore. But Manning's going to bolt in by 3 lengths. Chapman second. Then about 15 back to the other number 1 plate rider. That's Brent Harris of Mangere. Peter Fleming.
Well, Alistair Manning shows just how important it is to get away to a good start in this first moto. He's clear of the field at an early stage, and he gets the whole shot into the first berm. But keep an eye on Chapman. He's at the back of the field and well wide, but in a great position to avoid the 4-man pile-up. With 4 riders down, it's a 2-man race, but Manning's early advantage is too great for Chapman, and Manning coasts across to an easy win. The second moto and the riders are in lane 1, 15-year-old Sean Kerr, who comes from Dunedin. Darren Eckold, also of Dunedin, and he's 17. Stephen Reid, another Dunedin writer, 15 years old. In lane 4, Alan Spike Smith from Dunedin, he's 17. Lane 5, Tony Dick, 15-year-old from Dunedin. And in lane 6, Shane Gibson of Bishopdale, he's 17.
Just about ready for a start. 5 Dunedin riders, 1 from Bishopdale. And a great start from Stephen Reid. Darren Eckold got a fly. He's first off the drop-off by 1 length. Stephen Reid second. Tony Dick's third. Into the first berm they go. Darren Eckold still by a length. Then Stephen Reid. Oh, Stephen's had a bit of bad luck at the back there. Darren Eckold's opened up 2 lengths now. Second place, Sean Kerr. Then Alan Smith. And Tony Dick at Dunedin. Bishopdale riders at the back of the field with his ankle tangled up in a bike. But it's all Darren Eckold now. He's opened up 2 lengths on Sean Kerr at Dunedin. Then Alan Smith at Dunedin 5 lengths back. And Tony Dick 1 length behind him. But Darren Eckold of Dunedin.
Darren Eckold really works hard down the start straight. Notice how he drives that bike over the first drop-off and he gets the whole shot. Keep an eye on Shane Gibson. He's in the red near the back. Now, he's going for the inside line, which Chapman took in the first moto, but Gibson isn't as lucky. He just catches Tony Dick's foot and they're up and riding tandem. Bad luck for both riders. But Darren Eckold is in complete control, still working that bike hard down the home straight. He's clear by a good 5 or 6 bike lengths. And he's even got time to take a look over his shoulder as he coasts to the line and 9 points. And the final moto of the first round in lane number 1, Colin May, 18-year-old from North Shore. Stephen Winteringham from Aorangi, he's 18 as well. Jay Wyman, North Shore, is 14. Chris Wick of Hibiscus Coast, 17 years old. Darren Wilcock of Hornby is 17. And Mark Neville, riding in lane 6, is from Bishopdale and he's 13.
All right, they're just about ready for a start. Boys are starting to get themselves balanced now.
Riders, ready. Riders, are you ready? Welcome.
They're off this time. Colin May didn't get a very good start. 701's in the front though. 701. That's Darren Wilcock. He's from Hornby. Oh, he's skinned it out, but he's still in front. There's one of the top riders over the back. That's Jay Wyman. But it's Wilcock in front. There's Colin May in second place, I think it is. It's a bit hard to tell. They're both... yes, Colin May's in second place, but it's Wilcock, Colin May. Couldn't pick the third rider. Still Wilcock, 701. Then Colin May's working on him now. And then the number 2 rider. That's Chris Wick. But it's a great battle. Colin May storming home, but 701 will take it. Colin May will be a foot behind him. Third would be...
Well, it looks like the first berm holds the answer to the winning on this course. Again, riders in all sorts of trouble. Darren Wilcock leads into the berm with Chris Wick right in behind him and looking good. But notice Wick just pushes it a bit too hard and he spins out. Jay Wyman goes over the top and it's the New Zealand number 1 Colin May who's through into second place.
All the competitors in the challenge this afternoon are 18 years and under, but BMX is a sport for all ages. Peter Davies, you're, what, 42 now. Tell us, what got you interested in BMX?
Well, we're interested in BMX insofar as we administer the Port Chalmers Club, my wife and I, and our helpers. And because I have to arrive at every meeting, I thought, well, it's silly to sit and watch, so I'll get on a bike and have a go. And that was 2 years ago. We've progressed since then.
But taking age and wisdom into consideration, are you very competitive against the younger guys?
On occasions. I like to think I am, but it's training. I don't get much of a chance to train. But if I train the week before, I usually manage to get into a slot somewhere in the finals.
And who do you find yourself racing against most of the time?
17, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. You know, they're fairly fit, very good, as you can see today. The boys racing here, they're very quick.
Yes.
And if I get in there and finish before the last place, I'm quite happy.
What about a class for older riders? Can you see anything like that coming up in the future?
We have got classes for 25 and overs, 30-year-old and veterans classes, but they're not very well patronised. But I believe in the Summer Nationals in the North Island after Christmas, there's quite a big following for the 30 and over.
And where do you see your future in riding? Are you going to have to retire at any age, or can you just keep at it?
When they have to help me around the track, I'll give it up.
Peter, thanks very much indeed. So there's no upper age limit and there's no lower limit as well. If you can ride a bike, even if your feet don't touch the ground, there's a race for you at a BMX meeting. Our next race, in fact, is for boys and girls 6 years and under.
Right, we're just about ready for a start. The 6 and under.
Riders, are you ready? Welcome on!
They're off this time. Pretty good start. No one's broken the line yet. Looks down the drop-off goes 6:31. That's Aaron Padgett, the wee Tyree boy. Then Kelly Brown, Gillian Kendall, Emma Guthrie's right there. She's from Port Chalmers. But Aaron Padgett's starting to slip away from the field. He's 3 or 4 lengths clear coming up to the double jump. Then there's the wee Tyree boy, Kelly Brown, the girl, Gillian Kendall, then Emma Guthrie. Then 707 and 242. But it's all Aaron Padgett at present. Kelly Brown starting to close. There's Gillian Kendall coming with a bit of a burst in 3rd place. Emma Guthrie's in 4th. Gap back to the last 2, but it's Aaron Padgett, the Tyree boy. Then 3 lengths back to Kelly Brown. Then Emma Guthrie's coming on strongly and Gillian Kendall. But it's Aaron Padgett from Tyree and Kelly Brown. Here's Emma Guthrie coming home fast from Port Chalmers. She'll take 3rd. Gillian Kendall 4th.
Oh, when you're just 6 years old, the risers on the home straight must look an awesome sight. But these budding young BMX champs give it everything they've got. Really sticking to the task out front, clear by a couple of bike lengths, is Aaron Padgett. And second home is Kelly Brown, 3rd, Emma Guthrie. We'll be back in a moment.
Remember the early 60s? Remember how we thought the world would always be as carefree and as easy as it was then? No one worried about inflation or the economy or interest rates. New Zealand banks were well suited to those uncomplicated years. But times change. Now there's a bank that's in touch with today's needs. Westpac was created for these times.
Times have changed, as we always do. It's your sign, and it says that your bank is changing with you. This is your sign. This is your sign. It's your sign for the times. Westpac is changing with you. Have a nice day.
Beneath the brown paper lie 2 of the toughest jeans made for man. New Isona Buffalo, born and bred for the rugged. Isona New Basic, with new, better, very accommodating, bigger back pockets.
Stonewashed, basic and buffalo, with the Isona feel and fit.
Not recommended for the tame. Isona Basic and Buffalo jeans, available from H&J Smith, Invercargill, Gore, Queenstown and Nelson.
Back now to the challenge in the second round. Again, 3 motos, but this time the riders have been rearranged. In lane 1 is Brent Harris, who had a 3rd place in round 1. In lane 2 is Philip Chapman. He picked up a 2nd place in his first round. In lane 3 is Stephen Reed, who's got a 5th place behind his name. In lane 4, Shane Gibson, who has a 6th placing. In lane 5 is Jay Wyman, also with a 6th placing. And in lane 6, it's Mark Neville, who has a 5th placing from round 1.
Riders,
All right, they're just about ready for a start now. I see some of the boys balance. Had a beautiful start they got. And it looks like who's broken the line. Number 1, there's 2 number 1s. I can't figure it at first. It looks like Philip Chapman is in front. Going around the first turn, Philip Chapman. And Brent Harris in 2nd place, 2 number 1s. Stephen Reed's right there. He's getting shut out, unfortunately for him. But it's 2 number 1s, 1st and 2nd over the double jump. Still Philip Chapman ahead of Brent Harris. Then there's Mark Neville in 3rd place. They sorted themselves out a bit now. An Indian file going out of the S's up the home straight is Philip Chapman and Brent Harris down to a battle royal. Still Philip Chapman in front, half a bike length. Brent Harris is fighting hard back. Philip Chapman will take it. Brent Harris 2nd. Mark Neville did really well for 3rd. Another SE rider. He'll be...
Well, all the riders clear through the top berm this time, and we get the first really tight finish of the day. Into the home straight, and it's Chapman and Harris fighting it out down to the line, with Chapman hanging on for the 9 points.
we have all riders to the finish line, please.
And now the riders are ready for the second moto of round 2. And in lane 1 is James Bettridge, who picked up a 5th placing in his first race. In lane 2 is Sean Kerr, who has a 2nd place. In lane 3, Alan Smith, a 3rd place from round 1. In lane 4 is Colin May, a 2nd place from round 1. In lane 5 is Chris Weck, who has a 3rd placing from his first race. And in lane 6 is Chris Belgor, who has a 6th placing.
Right, they're just about ready for a start. I see the boys balanced there, all balanced in fact. Just about ready for a start.
Righto. Are you ready? Hang on. Relax. Whoops, time. Hang on.
Boys readjusting their bikes. Just about ready now, though.
Righto. Are you ready? Wells to the top.
Oh, good start this time. Colin May got a fly, but Sean Kerr got even a better one down the drop off Sean Kerr. Look at Colin May flying. It's Colin May in front, though, going around the first turn. Then Sean Kerr. Wilcox is right there. No, sorry, Weech. Chris Weech is in second place. It's Colin May over the double jump. Then Weech in second place. Couldn't pick third. Sean Kerr got cut out, but it's Colin May in front, coming out of the S's now. Colin May from the North Shore, then Weech in second place from O'Rewa. Third place is Dunedin's Alan Smith. He's going well, but it's going to be Colin May. You're bolted by 4 lengths this time. Second will be Chris Weech, and third Alan Smith of Dunedin. Good battle at the back.
Colin May had the whole shot right from the start, and as we've seen in the other races, from there you're almost unbeatable. Into the home straight, and it's May followed by Chris Weck, who spun out in his first moto. He hangs in there this time, but May is too strong, and he powers away for his first win of the day. And moto number 3, and this promises to be a beauty because it's got all 3 winners from round 1. In lane 1 is Peter Fleming. He was 4th in round 1. In lane 2 is Darren Eckold, who was first in his moto of round 1, and he has the fastest qualifying time of 32.23. In lane 3 is Tony Dick, 4th in his first moto. In lane 4 is Stephen Wintringham, also 4th in his first moto. In lane 5, however, Darren Wilcock, first in Moto 3 with a time of 32.76, and another first place getter in lane 6 is Alistair Manning with a time of 32.62.
Right, they're just about ready now.
Are you ready?
3 first heat winners. A beautiful start from Darren Eckold. He's gained half a bike length going over the drop-off on one. Oh, Darren's come down. No. 2 other riders are down, though. Darren's still going. But it's Wilcox in front now. Darren Wilcox, he's taken the lead from number 49, Alistair Manning from Wainui Amata. Peter Fleming from Dunedin's in 3rd place. Darren Eckold's in 4th. Dunedin rider at the back, still a boy on the track. Back to the 3 leaders. It's a great battle for first and second between Wilcox and 49. That's Alistair Manning of Wainui Amata, but Wilcox will take it. Manning will be second. Peter Fleming from Dunedin 3rd.
Well, let's take a look at the start, where it all went wrong for Darren Eckold. He got a real flyer out of the gate, leading nicely into the first drop-off. But he gets his front wheel up too high, and he's down. Behind him, Dick and Wintringham get caught up in the debris, and really bad luck for them. But good luck for Darren Wilcock, because he's clear of the trouble and first into the berm. He drives home that piece of luck, and although he's got a good lead into the home straight, you can see he's giving nothing away. Working that bike really hard, he clears away from Alistair Manning and Peter Fleming, and that's his second win of the day. So after 2 rounds of very eventful racing, the points are as follows. Alistair Manning, 15. Darren Wilcox with the maximum points, 2 wins. He has 18 points. James Bettridge, 5. Tony Dick, 5. Peter Fleming, 7. Alan Smith has 8. Mark Neville has 3. Stephen Wintringham has 4. Sean Kerr, 8. Chris Weck, 10. Darren Eckold up there with the leaders on 12. Stephen Reid with 4. Colin May, 15. Brent Harris, 10. Another leader, Philip Chapman with 15. Jay Wyman has 4. Shane Gibson has 5. And Chris Felgore has 2. So as you can see, things are beginning to sort themselves out. The riders have 1 more race each, so places for the final are still open.
Now, the track here at Forester Park in Dunedin has been especially prepared for Television New Zealand's BMX Challenge. The track itself consists of 3 layers. Firstly, there's a layer of clay. On top of that, there's a layer of road and gravel, and then finally what they call quarry dust. Now, all of this is impacted together to give you a very hard, firm, all-weather track. The area used to be a rubbish dump, but it was made available to the Dunedin BMX Club by the Dunedin City Council. As you can see, an enormous amount of work has gone into making it as good as it is today. As we said, it's a hard track, so there are a few rules for the riders to avoid any accidents. First of all, they're not allowed slingshot starts. That is, their front wheel has to be pushed up hard against the starting barrier. They're not allowed to break lanes until they pass the first jump. They're not allowed to cut other riders off while they're on the straights, and that rule doesn't apply for the corners. There's to be no physical contact between riders from elbows or any other parts of their body. And if at any time you see a red flag at the finishing line, it means an inquiry into the race is being held. A judge's decision can be expected very shortly. Now, if riders do fall on the hard track, they're well protected. First of all, a good pair of gloves. Shane, let's have a look at those gloves. They are quite essential. A good strong shirt, and on many of the BMX shirts bought these days, there are built-in elbow pads like this. A good strong pair of trousers is necessary, and also, again on the trousers, knee pads are built in with shin pads extending all the way down the leg. If not, something like this is available at most cycling shops, and also a good strong sturdy pair of shoes. You will have seen some of the riders using their shoes to brake as they approach corners. And finally, and probably the most important safety piece of equipment is this, the helmet. Thanks, Shane. Now something a little bit different. This is a standard BMX bike, but with a difference. It's got a sidecar attached. In BMX language, it's called a side hack. We've got a race for them right now.
Just the two entrants in this race, so at least the worst you can do is come second. On the right, riding for Bishopdale, peddler is Shane Gibson and swinger Mark Neville. On the left, riding in the yellow, peddler is Stu Robertson, swinger Shane Danielson.
Riders, are you ready? Wells to the ball.
Get off!
Well, back at the first berm, both riders really took this one wide. In fact, Shane Gibson must have thought he was going to get an early look at the other side of the track. But he just manages to hang in there. And at the top of the home straight, he's got a good 3 lengths on the Dunedin pair, but Stu Robertson isn't giving it away, and he makes a great effort to peg back that lead. And in the end, it's just half a length, a great finish.
And now for the last of the qualifying rounds of the challenge. After these 3 motos, we'll be able to confirm 3 of the 6 finalists. On the grid for moto number 1, and again, the riders have rearranged for this final round. In lane 1 is Peter Fleming of Dunedin, who has 7 points. In lane 2, Alan Smith, also of Dunedin, with 8 points. In lane 3, Jay Wyman of North Shore with 4 points. In lane 4, Alistair Manning, one of the favourites from Wainuiomata, he has 15 points. In lane 5, Sean Kerr of Dunedin with 8 points. And with just 5 points, Shane Gibson riding in lane 6.
Just about ready for a start. They're off this time. Good start from number 8, Sean Kerr. He's got a flyer. So did Alan Smith. There's a number 1 rider there, Jay Wyman. He's in front going into the first berm, though. Oh, there's a fall. Looks like he's all right. He's up on his bike again, but it's Jay Wyman in front. Sean Kerr from the Dunedin in second place, and the number 2 rider, Shane Gibson from Bishopdale in third place. And 49 in fourth, that's Alistair Manning of Wainuiomata. Back to the leaders, though, coming out of the S, and Sean Kerr's taking the lead from Dunedin. He's coming up the home straight first. It's Sean Kerr of Dunedin. Only fractionally in front. Sean Kerr of Dunedin is a great finish from the number 2. Shane Gibson will put him on the line. Great riding.
Well, the riders now racing in torrential rain, making that first berm even more hazardous, as Peter Fleming discovers to his cost. Still 5 riders are clear of that berm, and it's Jay Wyman who leads them through berm number 2 and out into the double jump. Into the switchback, and Wyman must be thinking at this stage that the race is all his. But he goes wide on this berm, and Kerr pulls up alongside. Coming into the last berm, and again, Wyman goes too wide. Kerr sees the gap, and he's through. Into the final straight, and Kerr has the lead. And at this stage, he must think that the race is all his. But just watch for that tremendous finish on the inside from Shane Gibson.
And they're all set now for the second moto of the final qualifying round. And in lane 1, the man to watch, Darren Wilcock, with 2 wins under his belt, is standing with a maximum of 18 points. In lane 2, James Petridge of Aorangi has 5. In lane 3, Stephen Reid of Dunedin with 4. In lane 4, Stephen Wintringham of Aorangi with 4. In lane 5, Chris Felger of Bishopdale with 2, and keep an eye on lane 6. That's Philip Chapman. He has 15 points and he's from North Shore.
Just about ready for a start this time. Let's see if some luck can come Dunedin's way this time. Great start from Stephen Reid, and he got a beautiful start. 7:01's in front though. That's Darren Wilcock. Just Darren Wilcock in front. Stephen Reid's right there also. He's in 3rd place. There's a rider over the back of the berm there. Didn't figure it was. Still Darren Wilcock in front. There's a number 1 rider. It looks like Philip Chapman's worked his way into 2nd place. Still Darren Wilcock. Philip Chapman in 3:02. James Betters, he's in 3rd. Stephen Reid's in 4th place, just waiting to pounce. But still Wilcock in front. There's the number 1 rider, Philip Chapman, starting to work on him now. Still Wilcock, Chapman in 3:02, but Wilcock will take it. Chapman 2nd, 3:02, James Betters 3rd, Stephen Reid.
Well, that first berm is really taking its toll. Down the start straight, and again it's the familiar sight of Darren Wilcock out front. Despite the conditions, riders still push it through here. And this time, just the one pays the price. Into the home straight, Wilcock still holding that lead, about to make it 3 out of 3.
And with the rain falling steadily on the course now, we're ready for the last moto of the final qualifying round. Starting in lane 1 is Tony Dick of Dunedin on 5 points. In lane 2, Chris Weck of Hibiscus Coast on 10. In lane 3, Brent Harris from Mangere on 10. In lane 4, that's Darren Eckhold of Dunedin. He's on 12. Up there with the leaders on 15 points is Colin May riding in lane 5. And in lane 6, Mark Neville of Bishopgate, who is 3 points.
Just about ready for a start now. Very high caliber field, this one.
Ride it! Ride it! Are you ready? Well to the ball!
They're off this time. Who's broken the line? Looks like Colin May got up fly. Darren Eckhold was left at the start, but it's Colin May just in front of the number 2 rider. That's Chris Weech. Oh, Chris Weech made a bit of problems, but it's still Colin May in front. Where's Darren Eckhold? He's worked his way into 3rd place, coming home very strong. 2 number 1 riders, Colin May and Brent Harris. Looks like it's Colin May in front, Brent Harris 2nd. Darren Eckhold's going to pounce in 3rd place. Weech is in 4th, but it's Colin May in front. Still Colin May, 2 number 1 riders, Colin May and Brent Harris. Darren Eckhold's coming from the clouds for 3rd, but it's Colin May will take it. Brent Harris 2nd, Darren Eckhold 3rd. Weech 4th.
Well, there we had the rather rare sight of all riders making it through the first berm. Into the last berm, and the SE Racing team have this one all sewn up. Colin May, the number 1 for the team, looks like being a real threat to Darren Wilcox, and he leads home from his fellow teammates Harris and Eckhold, who's come back well from that crash in round 2.
The Golden Kiwi Holiday Encore 5+5. First $500,000, plus 5 of 100,000, nearly $1.5 million in cash prizes. Tickets $10, Monday next.
Red Line, Supermax 2, HMX 500, Healing BMX. We are the force.
Young men aged 15 to 24 years have more traffic accidents involving death and injury than all other drivers put together. The human cost is too great. Everyone, let's stop this shame now. And you guys, stop driving yourselves and others to the graveyard in those staggering numbers. Accident Compensation Corporation. Preventing accidents is our first task.
Remember the early 60s? Remember how we thought the world would always be as carefree and as easy as it was then? No one worried about inflation or the economy or interest rates. New Zealand banks were well suited to those uncomplicated years. But times change. Now there's a bank that's in touch with today's needs. Westpac was created for these times.
Times have changed as we always do. It's your sign and it says that your bank is changing with you. This is your sign. This is your sign. It's your sign for the times. Westpac is changing with you.
Have a nice day.
Well, if you own a BMX bike, you're not limited to racing. Most clubs these days hold trials, an event where a rider has to negotiate an obstacle course without any part of his or her body touching the ground, and they've got as long as they like to go about it. Then there are cross-country events, and here winning does depend on speed, but it's held over a much longer course, so it becomes more of an endurance race. And if there's nothing organised, you can always go freestyling.
Well, I'm not sure where I'd rather be, on the bike or on the ground. Anyway, we have the results of the first 3 rounds of motos. And the points are now as follows: Alan Smith on 10, James Bettridge on 9, Darren Wilcock 27, Darren Eckhold 16, Shane Gibson 14, Chris Weck 13, Brent Harris has 16, Tony Dick has 6, Stephen Wintringham has 5, Jay Wyman has 8, Colin May has 24, Philip Chapman has 21, Sean Kerr has 14, Alistair Manning has 18, Mark Neville has 5, Chris Felger has 4, Stephen Reed has 7, and Peter Fleming has 8. And that means that the 3 certain finalists are Darren Wilcock, who's had 3 wins with a maximum number of points at 27. The second of our 3 finalists are Colin May with 24 points, and just behind him on 21 points, Philip Chapman. That means that they go straight through to the final. Joining them will be another 3, and those 3 are picked from the next 6 top scorers, and they get another chance in the repechage. And Sean Kerr has made it through to that repechage, and he starts in lane 1. In lane 2, Shane Gibson. In lane 3, Darren Eckhold. Lane 4, Alistair Manning. In lane 5, Brent Harris, and in lane 6 is Chris Weck. Remember now that points no longer matter. The first 3 riders across the race in this join the 3 other finalists.
Right, you're just about ready for a start. Sean Kerr's beautifully balanced. So's Darren Eckhold, 49. He's balanced well, that's Manning. Manning's broken the line already. Only just, it looks like it's the outside rider, Chris Weck. He's in front. Weck, then Manning. Can't see Darren Eckhold, he's right at the back. Weck went right over the berm there. He's rejoined again, and he's at the back of the field, but it's 49, Alistair Manning from Wainui Mata. Second place is the Shane Gibson from Bishopdale. Couldn't pick who was third. Darren Eccles in fourth place, but it's Manning from Wainui. Some of these boys are getting tired, but Manning's opened up 3 lengths. Here's Sean Kerr flying at the finish. He's going to take third, second place. Oh, I couldn't pick third now.
The last chance for these riders, and really crucial coming into that first boom. Chris Weck and Alistair Manning looking really good. It's Manning who gets the inside running. Weck is forced high and he's over the top and out of the race. Through the boom, and it's Manning, Gibson and Harris, and that's the way they finished.
So after 3 rounds of motos and 1 repechage, we're down to 6 riders for the final, and they're ready now on the start line. In lane 1 is Alistair Manning, the 16-year-old from Wainui, and he's running hot this year. He's got maximum points in the New Zealand BMX A National Champs Series, and he'll be a big threat. In lane 2, Shane Gibson. He's 17 and is presently the number 2 in the South Island Open class. In lane 3, Darren Wilcox, 17-year-old rider from Christchurch. He's new to the game, but he's already won both indoor meets in Christchurch, and he's hot favourite to take out this final today. He's got the fastest qualifying times and has so far won 3 out of 3. Brent Harris is 17. He was last year's top 16-year-old rider. Just 5 weeks ago he was in hospital with a broken arm, but he's come back from that and made it through to the final. In lane 5, Philip Chapman, just turned 16. Last year he was New Zealand's top 15-year-old rider, and he's probably the most stylish rider around at the moment. And in lane 6, Colin May, 18. He's been in the forefront of BMX racing since it began, and he's currently number 1 in the New Zealand Open class. Recently he toured the United States of America, where he came 6th in the World Cup.
Well, they're just about ready for a start in the grand final, the one you've all been waiting for.
Are you ready? Well, to the top.
They're off this time. Colin May got a great start. Philip Chapman got one better though. It's Chapman just in front. No, Wilcox is taking it off and going around the first boom. It's Wilcox, Chapman, Colin May, and Shane Gibson's in 3rd place now, but it's Wilcox. Darren Wilcox from Hornby in front, then Philip Chapman from the North Shore in 2nd place. 3rd is Shane Gibson from Bishopdale. The Wainui rider Alistair Manning in 4th place. Into the final straight they go. It's Darren Wilcox of Hornby. He's in front. 2 lengths clear of Philip Chapman storming home, but Wilcox going away from him. He's 3 lengths clear at the finish. Wilcox, Chapman and Shane Gibson of Bishopdale.
Well, what a great exhibition of riding. Let's take another look at that race. Wilcox, as he's done all day, gets another flyer down into the first drop-off, and see how quickly he gets that front wheel back onto the track.
If the final riders would come back to the start, we want to have a
And now for the 4th time today, he goes into the boom with the hole shot. And it seems all the riders are benefiting from previous experience, and though the track is probably at its worst, they're all through safely. But let's look at Wilcox. He's judged all his races to perfection, and once clear of the field, he's proved to be virtually unbeatable. He really hasn't put a foot wrong all day. For a relative newcomer to the sport, Wilcox shows an amazing amount of skill. Beautiful control and balance through the final boom. He picks out the line perfectly. Down into the final straight, he just powers away from the rest of the field.
Behind Wilcox, Philip Chapman has to be content with 2nd place, and he just makes it home in front of the fast-finishing Shane Gibson.
Well, Darren Wilcox from Christchurch, congratulations on some very fine riding indeed. Did you tell us, did you have any plan during the races on how you could possibly take this away?
Oh, just to get into the finals.
What did you have planned?
Well, I just wanted to stay at the front. As long as you stay at the front, you're right.
Keep well away from the others. How did you find the design of the track?
Oh, good. Really good.
We've had some Well, basically atrocious weather here today. Did that hinder your riding at all?
No, not at all. I think it helped me.
In what way?
Well, I had smaller wheels on than the others, and it gave me a bit of an advantage, I think.
Darren, do you have any plans for riding in the future?
No. Oh, just to keep racing.
Any thoughts of maybe travelling overseas?
No.
Well, Darren, congratulations. And of course, you're now the proud owner of this Red Line BMX racing bike.
And of course this, the Television New Zealand BMX Challenge Trophy. Darren, congratulations, well done, well done. And that's it from us from a very, very wet Forester Park in Dunedin.